While Bitcoin's price slides, something is happening behind the scenes that could change everything. In this video, I'm going to shed light on the news that's happening today that could have a monumental impact in a very short time horizon, and the big thing that I think is keeping the price suppressed right now. I'll also show you the key indicator to look at to know which way the market's going to go and when. The bears are out in full force saying it's over. The 4-year cycle has played out just like before, and the price is going to continue to slide all the way down to 50K or 40K. But let's listen to Michael Saylor to hear who he's been meeting with behind the scenes.
So I've been meeting with, I've been obviously meeting with all the sovereign wealth funds. I've been meeting with, I don't know, 50, 100 different investors, hedge funds, family office investors that are interested. I've been meeting with banks and people that own banks or run banks. I've been meeting with fund managers that offer financial products. I've been meeting with regulators in every jurisdiction.
Saylor is on a rampage, meeting with some of the largest financial institutions across the entire planet, and they are all interested in Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related products. So you may ask yourself, if all of the smart money and the institutional investors are interested in Bitcoin, why is the price going down?
That, detective, is the right question.
That is the right question. Now, the answer is not simple. There are many factors at play all at the same time. We've got some tailwinds and some headwinds, so it's very difficult to see what's going to happen with the price on a short time horizon. You've got things like consumer debt hitting all-time highs, while on the other side, you have quantitative tightening ending. You have mortgage delinquencies reaching 2008 levels, while on the other side, you have Wall Street having another great year. But let me shed some light on what I believe is truly happening behind the scenes. You see, there's an underbelly of crypto, a place where the degenerates control what they think of as the crypto casino, and they're all using something that has been massively detrimental, in my opinion, to the crypto market, and that thing is called leverage. Leverage is not new, but the way that crypto leverage functions is very different than traditional finance. If you're using leverage in the stock market, you can have margin enabled on your account, and you can take a $10,000 position, for example, and trade with $20,000. However, you're on the hook for that whole 20 if things go wrong. But in crypto land, it works completely differently. If you want to take $1,000 and trade with 100x leverage, many exchanges will allow you to do that. But the only thing that's at risk is your underlying $1,000. This creates a very degenerate gambler style addiction to leverage, because if you hit, you can hit massively. However, it's very easy to lose your money, and market makers know that. Let's take a look at what's happening to the leverage behind the scenes. This tool can show where the liquidation levels are, and the lighter the line, the more liquidations there are at that level. So you can see there's a lot of liquidations here at 92.6, 92.7, and there's also some below at 88 and so on and so forth. So I believe what's happening is the market makers are using any bit of news to pump the price up or down a few percentage points because it's to their advantage. They're on the hook. When you take a leverage position out, if you win, they're on the hook for that money. They don't want anybody to win. So let's take a look at the most recent Bitcoin 15-minute chart. You can see we traded sideways here, and then out of nowhere on the 30th, we dropped from 91 all the way down to under 84 in a very short period of time, less than a day. Then, as if by magic, we pumped all the way back up to 93, almost 94. This is more than enough, this dip, to wipe out massive leverage positions. If you're on 40x leverage, you only need the price to move down 2.5% for you to lose your entire stack. So boom, millions and millions of dollars the exchanges were able to gobble up in profit by moving the price from here to here. Likewise, then people started shorting Bitcoin thinking it's going lower, and the market makers move it back up to be able to liquidate everyone else on the other side. Trade sideways for a little bit, and then watch this. From 91 to 88. More than enough to knock out a lot of 40x longs. Trade sideways, boom, another opportunity to knock out the longs. Then straight back up, take out the shorts. Take out the longs, take out the shorts. They're just ping-ponging back and forth. So they are gobbling up money. And I believe that's about to all change. I'm going to tell you when I think that's going to change in just a second here. But first, let's talk about some of the macroeconomic conditions that we're facing. So it looks like the market is beginning to price in that rate cut. We're at an 87% chance of a 25 basis point cut this week. Now, since the market's already priced that in, if we don't get a cut, that's going to be bad for markets. If we get a 50-point basis cut, that's also going to be bad, I think, in the short run, but usually lower rates will lead to higher prices. In other news, we've got MicroStrategy doing what MicroStrategy does and gobbling up more Bitcoin. This was a very large buy, almost $1 billion. So they announced a large buy, but unfortunately they bought a high watermark point where they bought over $100,000 right before it crashed down to under 90. So they were probably pretty upset about that. So they've averaged down, but Saylor said he's going to buy the top forever. He believes Bitcoin's going up forever, so it doesn't really matter what price you're getting it at because it's going to continue to climb up. We've got a major real estate company, Open Door, saying they are going to accept Bitcoin for homes. This was probably unimaginable just a few years ago. Now we've got traditional finance in every way, shape, or form trying to get their hands on Bitcoin and realizing that there is a place for it in our economy. And it's not just the US. Argentina is looking to offer crypto services starting in 2026. And this is a hint to what's about to come that I'm going to show you in just a second here. We also have gold outperforming Bitcoin significantly this year. However, there is historical data to show that money rotates into gold first on a debasement trade and then flows into Bitcoin. And gold's market cap is so high right now that a small rotation could mean a massive, massive leg up. So I promised to tell you what I think is going to happen next. Now, I think there's two outcomes, of course. One, we continue to decline and go into a bear market and the 4-year cycle is real. Or the big money is buying as low as they can, time and time again, because they want to be ready for 2026. Some of the major financial institutions, like Charles Schwab, is saying they are going to start offering crypto trading services in 26, along with Fidelity. Vanguard just caved as well. So I think they want the prices to remain low enough so that when their investors finally have the opportunity to invest through their platform, they're getting it at a good price. It is to their advantage, not just so that they look good in the eyes of their investors. It's that if their assets under management increase, they are going to take in more in fees. I don't think there's some big altruistic purpose here that they want everybody to get a good price. I think the reality is they want people to get a good price so that as it grows, their fees grow alongside of it. Their assets under management go up. If everybody dives in at 130,000 and then it went down to 85, 90, their assets under management would go down significantly, and that would be bad for business. So they want everybody to get a good price. And with all of these major financial players announcing that trading will begin in 2026 for crypto, I think the price will stay suppressed for the most part until we get into 2026. Now, a black swan event or some financial macro news could absolutely change that. And maybe if there's enough open interest, we can actually get the price up for the Santa Claus rally, as they call it, before 2026. But I don't see a world, personally, where we reach all-time highs at the end of 2025, because right now, at the time of this recording, it's December 8th. It would be pretty difficult to get there. Now, is it possible? Absolutely. A couple catalysts, if we get the crypto structure bill through, or the United States announces they actually are going to buy 1 million Bitcoin, that could change everything. But barring that, I think these institutions are laying the groundwork and they're trying to make sure the price stays where it belongs in their eyes so that their investors and themselves can get a good price going into 2026 when trading becomes available on their platforms. So if you're enjoying this content and you want to learn more, you want to get deeper, I recommend scrolling down below the bottom of this video and scheduling a call with me or my team. We can help you create a DeFi portfolio that produces income no matter what the market's doing. We focus on business owners and leaders in our 6-week DeFi Accelerator program. Now, just for some more fuel to the fire, let's listen to what Larry Fink has to say about where we are in the crypto cycle.
What do you mean by digital?
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board. It's very loud. It's very loud, but it's good. Capital's at work. Right? You like that? I love capital at work. Yeah. There's $4.1 trillion of money in globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize a ETF, and digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start focusing, moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem. They can have their cash, and we have the largest cash money market fund that's tokenized called BITL. Our Bitcoin IBIT is now over $100 billion.
I know from nothing not that long ago. Around
2 years ago, zero.
Yeah, I know. Well, you weren't always a huge proponent of crypto, as we know.
Yep. I love it, but I grow and learn. I heard you say that on 60 Minutes. I did. Yeah.